All right, and I am joined by Marin Catholic basketball player Gracyn Lovette. She is a sophomore. She was the leading scorer for the Wildcats last season with 11.5 points per game. She also grabbed 6.2 rebounds per game and just under 2 steals per game. And we're happy to have her on the show. Gracyn, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited to talk.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Obviously, we're kind of waiting to see if we're going to have a season, and it's supposed to start in March, and so we're hopefully going to even have a season. So we'll uh, we'll hope and pray that we can have that. But first, I just want to learn kind of what your upbringing is in basketball, because a lot of athletes have different paths. Like they didn't start playing until junior high, or some have been playing their whole life. What is kind of your story? Up to your sophomore year in high school of how you started playing basketball and what maybe AAU programs have you played for?
Yeah, so I started playing basketball when I was like 5 at the Y, just like a co-ed boys and girls. And then I just kept playing basketball, soccer, and um, baseball. And I played with the boys for most of these sports, or at least for soccer and for baseball. And I would always play like at school, like basketball with the boys, and I just hung out with them a lot. And then, so I just kept playing basketball through all these years. And then fifth grade, I started NBBA for a year, and that was like my first um, like club. And then sixth and seventh grade, we made a team out of like a bunch of players from CYO called Bay Club, and we like used the Bay Club gym because one of our players' dads worked there. So we did that for 2 years, and then our coach had a baby, so she had to stop coaching. So we all kind of went our separate ways, and I ended up at Cal Stars in the East Bay. So I played that for eighth grade and this year as well, and I'll keep playing there.
Yeah, I know a lot of coaches who coach with NBBA, and I know a lot of players have played there. But I know there's also like some go and play with the Oakland Soldiers, or
Mhm.
like there's other areas, other teams in the area that people players play for. But I graduated high school just 4 years ago, and it seems like nowadays being a student athlete is getting more and more difficult, right? I mean, when I was in high school, it was it wasn't too bad. There's still the regular class load and every other thing that goes on. But what is it? Take us into 2020, and particularly take us into Zoom student athlete. Even though you're not competing right now, what is it like, and what's the time commitment usually being? Trying to stay active in sports when it's very
Mhm.
difficult to, but also trying to stay engaged in a lot of Zoom classes like we're in right now.
Yeah, so for me and like my family, like we put school first just because that's just how we do it. But right now, Zoom, like it kind of gives you more time outside of class because for us, like our schedule is kind of shortened and compact. So I definitely have more time for basketball and homework as well, and just like studying in general. So there's more time to like craft each thing and do better in each thing. But before Zoom, I would say it's definitely hard, especially in the season. You kind of just have to find time whenever you can, like before practice, after practice, just to get all of your homework and studying done.
Yeah, and I think at least for me, I'm getting Zoom fatigue, as I'm sure you are too, and a lot of other people, and um, definitely hope that we can kind of get back into our normal routine. Excuse me. I kind of want to get into Marin Catholic a little bit, and your program, because following Marin Catholic, both the boys and the girls, but particularly the girls, they're a program that has high expectations every year, and
Mhm.
Coach Saya has been there for a long time, and they're usually contenders in the Marin County Athletic League. Always making a deep run into the NCS playoffs, making it to the NorCal playoffs. I went and covered Marin Catholic Redwood MCal Girls Championship game a few years ago,
Mhm.
and great game. Redwood was up double digits the whole way. Marin Catholic stormed back and ends up winning it by one. It's a great game. Um, Knowing that the history, or maybe you don't know, but is there any sort of added pressure because you're playing for, a program that is known not just in Marin and Sonoma County, but known throughout the Bay Area, that it's a highly regarded program. It has a great coach, and knowing that they make a deep run into the postseason each and every year.
Mhm. There's not a pressure because we just kind of do our thing, and that always leads to these like deep playoff runs and good league seasons. And we just set our goals for that, and we just take it step by step into reaching those goals. And the coaches, like, they don't put pressure on us. They definitely like want us to do well, but they don't like need us to win like championships. They just want us to do our best. So I think that helps a lot because they don't like have these like super like onset goals of we need to win and we need to do this, but we obviously as a team we're really competitive, so that just kind of happens naturally.
I want to talk about the first game of last season against Justin Siena. You guys won easily 57-19. You had 11 points in that game. Everyone treats the first game of anything, really, the first of anything, differently. There's lot of nervousness. Maybe you're excited, you're anxious. What were the nerves and what were the feelings kind of going into that first game and just trying to get your feet wet at the high school level?
Yeah, so obviously we kind of knew that we were going into the game and we were kind of better than the team. So I think that helped. And then also we had an exhibition game before that against St. Mary's Berkeley, and they're a really competitive and good team. And we actually won that game by like 6 points, I think. So that really kind of helped because I had started that game and didn't have a lot of confidence in that game, but then coming off that game and doing well in that game, it kind of transferred over into our first game against our first real game against Justin Siena.
Now, talking to your coach, she told me that you've been working in the fall, and specifically, she told me about your increased confidence in your 3-point shot. Is there, obviously that's great to improve on. Is there another facet of the game that you either have been working on or want to work on as we wait for the season to begin in March? And if so, what is it? And what are you trying to work on specifically in order to make yourself better?
Yeah, so I've been working on like just of course shooting in general, but also like moves to the basket and different finishes at the basket just to really add some levels to my game. And then also I've been working on strength a lot, just getting stronger outside of the court, like workouts, because during the season that kind of gets overlooked sometimes just because you're so busy practicing plays and just preparing for games. So outside of the season and with COVID and everything, there's a lot of time. So strength has definitely been a major focus.
Now, and also in talking to her, she said, you're an active a defender, rebounder, as we saw in the statistics that I'd mentioned earlier. You bring a lot of energy on the defensive end of the floor, and bring a lot of energy to the rest of the team. A lot of players that I've talked to say they try and emulate professional players, NBA or WNBA. Ones I've heard are Draymond Green or Natasha Howard at the WNBA. Is there someone that you kind of look up to for, just try and play like this player and try and bring that energy to your team on the high school level?
Yeah, I feel like I kind of look at two different players, like one for the offensive side and one for the defensive side. And for the defensives, I would probably say Draymond Green, just because he puts so much emphasis on defense. And like that's what has made him such a great player and given him so much rank. And then for the offensive side, I like Luka Doncic, even though he's new. He kind of reminds me of myself just because like he's new and he kind of plays like me, I guess. I'm not a point guard, but otherwise, like his skills and what he does.
And finally, to kind of finish on what she told me, because like I said before, she had great things to say about you. And this is something that really stuck out to me. She said that, most importantly, you're a great teammate and you're confident in your teammates and you're always looking to keep everyone involved and encouraged. And, nowadays that can be difficult because, high school players are different each and every year, right? They want to play and it's hard when they're not playing, and I could definitely see that. How important is it being a good teammate to you individually, and how important do you believe it is for every athlete, whatever the sport, to be team players before putting themselves first? It's like the old cliche of play for the name on the front, not on the back.
Mhm.
Even though most high school teams don't have names on the back, but you and everyone else listening gets the point.
Yeah, I would say that's like one of the most important things because you can't win a game with just you, and having that team like connected and as one, like they always say team chemistry, like I think that's really important and you need that because for our team, like we got along so well and they took me in so fast and like just like we all cared for each other so much and we're all such good friends that I think like that was one of the reasons we were able to do so well in our season because we were like so connected unlike some other teams. And like you can have five good players will be a team with one great player with okay players around them.
That's a great point you bring up. You said that they took you in. Um, is Have you played with any of those players that you like in AAU? You said with the Cal Stars, and like, have you played with any of those players before coming to Marin Catholic, or were you kind of walking into more of a brand new uh, atmosphere and a brand new team?
Yeah, I hadn't played with any of them before. I knew a few just from like one went to my school before, but I didn't really know anyone.
Is there one game um, over the years, whether it's AU or high school, that really stands out to you? Like you had a great game or hit a clutch shot, or it was a great team game. Is there one of those games that stick out to you? That's like, oh, that's a game I'll remember forever.
Yeah, I would say this year it was our home game against Redwood, and it was senior night. And Redwood's like our biggest rival.
Yep.
Like they're the ones that we always like bring fire to every year. And so it was senior night, and we were all really excited. And actually, last year they beat Redwood on senior night too. So we kind of had this like boost of confidence, and we wanted to do it for our seniors. And we came in super strong and it was such like a team game, like everyone did their part that we actually like beat them and it was just super special.
Yeah, 56-45. And I actually saw highlights of that game. Cal High Sports was there filming it, and
Mhm.
they I saw those highlights, and I actually had Kylie Horsemeyer on a few. Oh man, I think it's been a month, maybe a month or two ago, and Marin County basketball, both girls and boys, has just so much talent, and I know the rivalry history with Marin Catholic and Redwood, as I kind of talked about earlier with that championship game. Um, Last year, you guys had three seniors on your team, so a relatively young team. Um, what are you expecting? Now you guys have a lot more experience with the amount of returners you have. What do you expect from you as an individual, and then from Marin Catholic as a whole? Can we expect the Wildcats to keep up that level of play that we've been so accustomed to for so many years now?
Yeah, definitely. I think you can expect us being in the championship this year if there's a season. And
Right.
unfortunately, last year we kind of had a falling out at the end. We just kind of choked our last game. But I think we'll definitely do really well just because we have so many like experienced players and we're like a young, energetic team. And then individually, I think I'll just have like more confidence this year to just get things done and be where I need to be. So I think you'll expect good things this year.
I want to pick you up on that because the MCAL semifinals, I believe, you guys lost to San Marin at home, and it was a rather lopsided score. And when I saw that, I was shocked. I was like, "Whoa!" Um, first off, kind of tell me what do you think went wrong in that game, and then tell me what happened the next two games where you beat Middletown by 42 and you beat Fortuna by 14. Kind of take me back to the end of that San Marin game and how you guys were able to regroup and respond for those two games in the NCS playoffs.
Yeah, so San Marin was always like a tough team for us to beat. We lost to them once in the season already, and then we beat them by like 10 or less our second game against them. And then in the semifinal game, the beginning of the game, they just kept getting ahead and we couldn't really score. So that's what just the first half is just really where we went down, and we tried to come back and it just didn't happen. But after that, we just were like, we had just this like fire in us because we were really mad that we just were like, okay, we're not losing anymore. So we just brought for the next like 2 or 3 games, we were like, okay, we're not going to lose. And I think the San Marin game, although we lost it, like it brought us to be better in the next games we had.
Yeah, I'd say, I talked to a college coach the other day, and she always says you learn a lot more when you lose. So I think that's probably what you guys did. I just want to close out. We're gonna have a couple of lighthearted ones. What's your pregame music playlist? I need new songs to listen to. I've been wearing out my playlists.
I would say pregame for me, I listen to a lot of like Lil Baby and Polo G. They just get me like really pumped up. And then songs from them, I like Something to Prove or Some to Prove by Lil Baby. And from Polo G, I like a song called 21. But then we also have at home, we had a song that played right before we were gonna play, like when we were warming up, called Turn My Swag On by like Soldier Boy, I think. And that was just really fun for our team, and that got us really hyped as well.
Get you fired up. I love it. I'll have to check those songs out. And then finally, what's the superstition? Any superstitions you have or the team has that if you do this or wear this, you guys you're gonna play well?
Yeah, I kind of have a lot of superstitions. Like I wear the same spandex every game, and then my socks, I have to put the left one on first, and then the right one, and they have to be the right, like the left one. The left sock has to be the left sock.
Wow.
And the right sock has to be the right sock. And then I wear the same hair ties every game. And yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So I've never heard of left sock, right sock. That's
Yeah.
hey, everyone has their own thing. As long as if it makes them play well, I'm all right with it. Gracyn, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it, and wish you the best of luck on finals, and wish you the best of luck. Hopefully, if we have a season in March.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.